widen the aperture a little bit this morning, see who's awake, see how much caffeine has been ingested. And we're here to tell you that we don't have answers, but our role as leaders is to ask better questions and reframe those questions. And so Emily and I are going to talk a little bit about what quantum is. So I'm Joe Brady, the CEO of the Americas for the Instant Group.
And I'm Emily Watkins. I'm Chief Client Officer for the Americas for the Instant Group.
So we're going to take you through a little journey, right? And as a lot of this, everyone knows that the world is changing like never before.
Transforming, accelerating, shifting, and evolving beyond imagination.
While few things are a guarantee, one thing is certain.
Smarter will help us navigate the change faster and better. You'll find smarter everywhere.
Smarter ideas, smarter products. Is Yulia in the room at Airbnb? Smarter ways of living and doing. Smarter is in everything we do and everything we are, except for one crucial aspect.
Where and how we work. Because while the world is reshaping itself for the future, most of our workspaces really do remain stuck in the past.
Rooted in outdated expectations of when work happens and where work takes place.
Why should we feel bound to the same office, the same commute, the same routine? Why do we keep treating offices like they're fixed places when they can really be anywhere we choose and need them to be?
It's time workspace that works for you became the norm, not the exception. It's time workspace got a whole lot smarter.
A new world of smart work is emerging, a new quantum ecosystem.
Rethinking work so businesses and employees, most importantly, can all move forward faster. Because the world and our expectations have changed, it's high time our workspaces have caught up. So I hope you all agree with us that that is, in fact, part of our charge today. Do I have an amen? Hello.
Who's with us? Okay, so 20 plus years ago, we were really focused on these rather analog tools, right? Who had your Excel spreadsheets that listed out your real estate portfolio locations by lease expiration? That's what we used to kind of manage our work. It was based on what's coming up and when am I having new openings and new locations coming onto site. 10 years ago, every company, literally every company was saying, I have a great idea. Let's become digital first. But like, what did that really mean? Well, it meant that we wanted to start utilizing data to help us make better decisions and utilizing technologies like IWMS to actually help us automate our processes and move faster. But in 2020, I will say we started to become quantum, whether we knew it or not, which really means that we had employees working anywhere, everywhere, anytime. And that is what we like to call quantum.
How do we define hybrid? You know, if you were going to ask senior leadership, okay, what's hybrid work? How many people would agree that hybrid is binary? You're either home or you're in the office.
We have a smart group. We have a smart group.
Yeah, this is a smart group. There has been this notion applied to hybrid that it's binary, and our position is it's quantum, meaning you can exist in multiple states, you can work in multiple states throughout the day. And part of the challenge that we have is that work now has changed, and we don't have the full ecosystem to support where and how we work in a frictionless way. You know, it's funny, work used to be a noun, right? Where are you going? I'm going to work. Now it's a verb. It's a thing you do irrespective of place. And in many respects, Emily and I come from a retail background, Gap, Walgreens, and we saw this movie. 20 years ago, retail went through this very same process where power went from property to people. The consumer voted with their wallet. And now we're in a situation where our employees are the new consumers. So we have to think about it from a hospitality perspective. We have to think about it from a listening and an observation perspective. They're going to vote with their feet. But something's wrong. I mean, restaurants are full, right? Sporting venues are full. Hotels are full. United Airlines came out this week and said there has been a structural change in travel tied to flexible office space. September, which is historically a horrible month for leisure travel, was through the roof at United and for the other airlines. So everyone else is maxed out except for one place, the office.
So the future is driven by choice. And when we say quantum, and we mean everywhere and anywhere, that could be home, that could be in your main headquarters buildings, that could be in smaller satellite offices, it could be flexible serviced office, it could be in a hotel or in a multifamily environment. It could be in retail areas and retail spaces or airline clubs. It could even be in a cab or on a plane. It truly is everywhere and anywhere. So why can't we enable that and make that easy?
And we need to reframe what that hybrid work is, don't we? And that success will be linked to the integration of workforce and workplace. And really that's quantum. But again, I mentioned this yesterday during the panel. There is this productivity paradox that's out there. And I'll just repeat what I shared yesterday, which was in September, Microsoft came out with a report having surveyed 20,000 knowledge workers. And that productivity paradox was that 85% of the leaders basically said they don't trust hybrid or quantum. It's presenteeism. 85% of the leaders said they don't trust, while 87% of the knowledge workers said, this is exactly what we want. And we're much happier doing this. In fact, we're working harder, and we're probably on the verge of getting a little crispy here too. So, it's a significant number, but what is holding us back? And there's a couple of things that we need to think about. The office asset class is a $3 trillion asset class that has never been disrupted. The inertia behind everything that's happening, that's 11 billion square feet, right, is astounding for us to fight. So there's a huge amount of friction that happens. Emily and I were at a conference, been to a lot of conferences here.
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
We were in Dallas, and we had a All America's call that we needed to take, and we were at the Omni in Frisco. We called the hotel and said, we just need a conference room set up. They said, sure, that'll be $1,400 for an hour. I thought,
For an hour.
"What? For an hour." So two things happened. One, we didn't get the room. Two, they didn't get $1,400. Now, if on an app, we would have seen that and it would have been $100, I don't know, $50, 60, whatever it might have been, access to internet, we would have done that. But there's way too much friction in doing what we're doing. The traditional corporate real estate industry is built off a 10-year lease, period. And except for core real estate assets, I don't know how anyone can think about signing a 10-year lease for anything. There's going to be more change in the next 10 years than in the last 100. I think we talked yesterday, was it Caroline, who talked about George Jetson's birthday, July of 2022. Go George Jetson. Okay, quiz time. What's George Jetson's dog's name? You think it's Astro. And that's what he says. He actually, you're going to dine out on this one. In one episode, he actually mentioned his real name. Does anyone have this one? And people wonder why I have these things.
No
in my head.
Googling.
Yeah. Anyway, his name is Tralfaz. Google it. I'm telling you, Astro's real name is Tralfaz. But anyway, I digress. So it is time for disruption. We already went to George Jetson. Caroline, are you happy? Thank you. All right, good. What if we could access Workspace? What if our people could access Workspace as easy as an Amazon one-click purchase? How do we get there?
All right, so you're all smart, busy people, and you like frameworks. So we're going to give you one. This is something that you can actually take and start applying in order to think about how to get your portfolio more quantum, right? So we think there's 6 key areas that you can focus on, because a focus on quantum is really a focus on human capital versus physical capital. And this is what is driving this power shift from property to people. So 6 key areas. The first one, technology. It's evolving incredibly fast. And so you need to structure your organization to be able to adopt new solutions really just as fast as these are coming out. I always used to say that by the time we finally got something implemented, there was 5 new technologies that were way better than what we implemented. We have to think about it differently. We have to be faster with how we try things. So make friends with your IT department. Really important. If you're not friends already, find one. They are the ones that can actually help you adopt technologies faster. The second is really ESG. I know there's been a lot of talk about it this week, but your workspaces and your actions around the choice you provide are actually key drivers to net zero carbon strategies. So you can actually directly impact a lot of these metrics that help your enterprise considerably. So if you're not tying the work that you're doing into your company's sustainability strategies, you've got to start. It's one more way that you're going to show tremendous value. The third on here is this concept of the new CRE leader. And we've been talking a lot in the last couple of days about how new competencies and skills that you and your teams need to be thinking about and adopting, from hospitality to marketing and communications, being able to actually sell our spaces to our employees and help them figure out how to best use and adopt them. I want to call out Chandler Bonney. Chandler, are you in the room? Yay, she is. She's doing some unbelievable things at Dropbox that really is focused on sort of virtual first and leveraging space. There's great examples of things that you guys are doing that you can really learn from each other that changes the way we think about our portfolios. The workplace, so the role of the workplace is now different. And you need to actually constantly demonstrate that by aligning with and educating your senior management. So we heard from Relina, Terry, Tracy, and Alana yesterday about the importance of bringing your executive team along the journey and telling those stories. Really a critical piece, because you actually get to lead that within your organizations. Next is this concept of multiple platforms. So we need to have comfort with multiple inputs to help us manage our portfolios, as opposed to waiting for those silver bullets. I want the one platform that's going to do everything for me. We all know that doesn't exist. So comfort with bringing multiple platforms in to help you accomplish what you need to. And last, and my favorite, experience and connection. We're now curators of experience and connection. Joe mentioned retail, and I'll tell you, because I was at Gap Inc. in 2001 when everybody was horrified by this idea of the online channel and how it was going to disrupt the physical stores. Why is anyone ever going to come to a store again if there is an online channel, right? So that was 2001, where there was this fear of what was going to happen to physical space. Well, you know what happened? Innovation. Innovation around creating beautiful experiences. Some of the images that you guys have been showing this week, I want to go to your workspaces and work. I do. So we have to really double down on that. We're creating that.
So as you think about your portfolios, this is what life looked like pre-pandemic, right? There was massive core, a little bit of home working, Friday afternoon we could sneak away, and a little bit of flexibility. Come April, everyone remembers where they were on March 13th, right? I was in New York hoping to go to the Big East basketball tournament, and that didn't work out too well. Funny thing happened though, because while in April, all of that home working existed, our companies were all paying for the core, weren't they, right? And as we move forward, and you think about what the future portfolio looks like, and depending upon the personas and where you are and who those folks are, you're going to have that mixture of home, hybrid, core. But all of this, as we talked about, needs to be anchored in trust and outcomes. So, but how do we get there?
So the big thing is just start. Just start. Start small, but do something. Go out of here today and write the one thing that you're actually going to do tomorrow to start. I love the concept of kind of trying and testing and doing new things and seeing what you can learn. And here I'm calling out Caroline again. Caroline, you're doing some amazing things at Cloudflare within your space, trying different options and seeing how people use them. Make them flexible, make them things you can kind of move around quickly. But this concept that she said yesterday of no more ribbon cuttings, yeah, you're not expected to create something perfect out of the gate. Look at Microsoft Word, right? How many iterations have come out on Microsoft Word? So be thinking about it more about minimum viable product. How do I test, measure, learn, and evolve and do it quickly? Embrace things that don't work and explain why they didn't and what you learned about it.
Yeah, the idea of failing fast and embracing that, but we're here to say that there is a smarter working world. You all are leaders, right? There's a couple of things that we can take away. We're not going back to the before times. At a recent panel, actually had a research person from a service provider say, our position is we will go back to 2019. And literally the entire room just sort of gasped, right? It's like, wow, that's bold. But there's a couple of things that are happening. Work is having this retail moment. Employees are the new consumers. They're going to vote with their feet. We have to ask them more questions, give them more choice, see how they react. That's how retail evolved. And so our job as leaders, though, and this is key, our job as leaders is to bring the future just slightly ahead of its regularly scheduled time. Are you with us? Can you do that? I mean, we need to drive it here in this room. So we need a movement for this quantum, and we believe that it's starting here, it's happening, it needs to gel, and we look forward to seeing great things from all of you in the future. So thank you.
Wonderful. Joe, Emily, thank you so much.